Lionel Richie explains why he stopped believing in love in new memoir Truly. Read an excerpt, exclusive, highs and lows and iconic love songs. Lionel Richie opens up to people about his fascinating life and times, and shares an exclusive look at new memoir. People has an exclusive excerpt of Lionel Richie's new memoir Truly, out September 30th. In Truly, the Grammy winner and American Idol judge opens up about his iconic career, experiences with racism and colorism, as well as his relationship struggles. The star reveals that after years in Hollywood, he began to distrust love and those who said, "I love you." At a certain point while writing his new memoir, Lionel Richie began to feel overwhelmed. "To be honest, I don't know how I remember a lot of stuff," Richie tells People for a story in this week's print issue. "And then there were moments when I wanted to forget things, and that's the painful part." Take People with you. Subscribe to People magazine to get the latest details on celebrity news, exclusive royal updates, how it happened, true crime stories, and more, right to your mailbox. In Truly, the Grammy winner and American Idol judge, 76, excavates his journey as a painfully shy kid in Tuskegee, Alabama, who stumbled his way into stardom in the 70s with the Commodores and became one of the most successful solo artists of the 80s, with hits like All Night Long, All Night, and Hello. After navigating racism, the loss of loved ones and close friends like Michael Jackson, and the pain of 2 divorces, the father of 3 says, "I feel a sense of accomplishment. I finally met Lionel Richie." With Truly, excerpted here, he hopes others will do the same. Richie recalls growing up happy and shielded in Tuskegee, Alabama. "We were not affluent by any stretch. My father was an insurance man for many years, and my mother an English teacher, later a principal. That's working folks, middle class, but there was enough to put food on the table. In spite of their differences, Mom and Dad were the perfect yin and yang of parents. My mother taught me to be polite, even with the curse of my shyness, whenever I was in unfamiliar settings. And my father, who was street, taught me how to walk into those settings in the first place." While attending Tuskegee University, Richie joined an R&B band on a whim. The Commodores were a hit, even before they had a name. It was the middle of the night, and there was a dictionary, and Michael Gilbert, eyes closed, opened it up randomly and pointed to the first word that jumped out at him. It was Commodore, the term for a high-ranking naval officer, just below admiral. Perfect for adding the and making it plural. Thus, the name Michael gets credit for choosing was, you guessed it, the Commodores. Richie has grappled with the complexities of racism in many forms. Racism in the South versus the Northeast was not a one-size-fits-all form of prejudice. Some folks didn't go so far as to use the N-word, but they sometimes still said things like, "Oh, you're too black," or "Your music is too black." The flip side was not being black enough to your own folk. That stigma was hard to shake, sadly, and it only added to all the feelings of not being enough. My recourse was to become more black, another reason to grow the biggest afro you ever saw. As Richie's star rose, it cast a shadow across the band. He left to pursue a solo career in 1982. We were not built to adapt to a different band formation. I felt pushed out. It was like in a marriage when someone says, I might want to see other people on the side. When I wrote Sail On about a relationship breakup, I didn't know that it would be prophetic for me, or that it would apply to other kinds of separations. I couldn't accept a future in which I was no longer a Commodore. My feeling to this day is that I would have stayed had I not felt that I was being shown the door. Richie adopted daughter Nicole, 44, with first wife Brenna Harvey, and welcomed son Miles, 31, and daughter Sophia, 27, with second wife Diane Alexander. Now, dating Lisa Parigi. He's reflective about love in Hollywood. In the business of fame and entertainment, "I love you" loses its magic fast. The part that I hated most was that this word that I use as my religion could become a throwaway phrase. When I write, "I love you," and when somebody plays that record, that's an emotional moment. When a man or a woman says, "I love you," still, after everything, that's an emotional moment. Naive as I was, it took me some time to see that everybody that says, "I love you," to you when you're famous, that's something they say, not something they feel. Over time, even when writing emotional love songs, I began to distrust "I love you." From Truly by Lionel Richie. Copyright 2025 by Lionel Richie. Reprinted by permission of Harper One, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers. Truly by Lionel Richie will hit shelves on September 30th and is now available for pre-order wherever books are sold.